I am going to share some inside information with you. So don't send this video to other people, especially people who you feel like you're in competition with, especially people who you do business with, especially your family. But I'm going to tell you something here that is really deep. So if you're not a deep thinker, I'm going to recommend that you just go ahead and swap onto the next video, because this is not a clowning around video like some of them I make, and this is not a rage bait video. This is some really deep stuff here. That I probably shouldn't even tell you. But shoot. Shouldn't tell you this. Do not ever tell people what's really going on. When you're talking to people, don't ever show your cards. Don't ever give them information that they could use against you. I see so many people, and I'm not trying to be judgmental here. I'm just putting something out here. I see so many people that they feel like they have to share their whole life story with somebody. And those of you who are really smart, you can skip on to the next video. Those of you who are really, experienced in political warfare, I guess you could call it, social warfare. You're not being dishonest if you don't tell other people the whole story. Okay? Don't ever show your cards when you're sitting at the poker game of life. Don't ever tell somebody what your next move on the chessboard is. But what you do is you keep thinking about what your next move is, and when it comes time to make your next move, you make it swiftly. You make it so fast that nobody else knows what hit them. And until it comes time to make that next move, keep your mouth shut. But I don't actually mean keep your mouth shut. Actually, don't keep your mouth shut, okay? This goes even deeper, because everybody else says keep your mouth shut. And I'm here to tell you, do not keep your mouth shut, okay? Why? Because if you keep your mouth shut, people are going to become suspicious of you. Because what does everybody tell you? What have you heard all your life? Do not ever trust somebody who's too quiet. Okay? So don't be quiet. Act like you are an idiot around certain people. Especially people who you think might become jealous of you. Act like you're Jethro Bodine from the Beverly Hillbillies. And some, many people, you don't want to come across as stupid because you want them to respect you, but just be cordial, be nice, and focus on them. Because a person who focuses on their self is going to do nothing to build relationships with other people. And what do we have to be successful? We have to have relationships with other people, because we're not doing this thing alone. You'll probably never hear anybody else tell you what I'm telling you now. Probably 3% of the world's population know this, if that. Now, I'm not trying to say I'm some kind of smart person. I'm just telling you some of the stuff that I know. If you're still watching, if you're this far with me in the video right now, then I know that you're not a shallow thinker. But don't be quiet. But when somebody asks you about stuff, asks you about your life, or tries to get specific with you or ask you for specific information or asks you for advice, especially if you're in a business where a lot of the ways that you do things you don't want to share for liability purposes and for having the edge purposes. When somebody asks you a question, always give them an answer. Don't say, I can't tell you that, because that's just going to make them want to know even more. Okay? So when they ask you, you always give them an answer, no matter what they ask you about. Give them an answer. And don't sound like you're being vague. Satisfy them, okay? When somebody gives you an answer, when somebody asks you a question, always give them an answer so they don't become suspicious of you. But here's what you're going to do, okay? Oh, I should not tell y'all this. I should not tell y'all this. But here's what you're going to have to do. You give them an answer, but you always make sure that the answer you give them is outdated technology, okay? Just like when you go to a university to learn something, you're always learning outdated technology. You learn how to make money, that's outdated technology. The stuff they teach you in college doesn't work anymore. I mean, it might work if you want to go get a job at the bank or something, but always give people an answer. But make sure that the answer you give them and the place that you're at personally is light years apart. You always make sure you're 25, 30 steps ahead of where people think you are. But don't make people suspicious of you. That is the worst thing you could ever do. You want to make people think that you are a virtuous person. Why? Because you actually want to be a virtuous person. Do what's right. But don't give people information that they can use against you. Because I don't care how good your will is, there's always going to be somebody who's going to find out that information who may not have your best interest in mind. So you want to be somebody that people like to be around and you make people feel comfortable. You don't want to make people think that you're better than them. I see so many people. I walk into a room and I see so many people that look down on other people, and even with me, they try to belittle me and stuff like that. I'm thinking, that is so stupid for somebody to try to belittle somebody else. Why would you do that? How is that going to help you? You want to be somebody that people feel comfortable around. You build other people up. So people who look down on other people are insecure. Okay? And I see this so much with old money, especially the children of old money or status. They make other people feel like they are better than them. But that comes from a place of insecurity. And they think that they're better than other people, but what they don't realize is people who started from the bottom are not old money. They are paddling way harder under the surface than old money people. And that's why 2 or 3 generations, those old money children who inherited that wealth are back on the street. Because they were not aware, they were not working hard enough, like the people who pulled themselves up from their own bootstraps out of the mud. And it's pride which comes before destruction. People's pride is their downfall. When you think you stand, it is an illusion. People who think they're smart have closed themselves off to humbling themselves to learn new things that they may have not anticipated. But people who humble themselves and always want to learn and be a friend and want the good of other people are the people who end up being in true power. Truly powerful people do not belittle other people. It's always the little snotheads, rich kids. And when I say rich kids, I mean there's rich kids who are 70, 80 years old. They never grew up. And nobody likes those people, so why do it? Nobody likes those people. And they never amount to anything. So don't be a rich kid, okay? And I'm you know, everybody in America is a rich kid compared to some countries. But I'm saying do not come off that way to people, because they are going to not like you. You want to always be humble around people, especially poor people. Be a friend to them. And build relationships. And if you truly are powerful, people will know it. You know, they'll know it. But don't rub stuff in people's face. Like so many kings in the past who were generational kings, you know, they inherited the throne. They start getting high and mighty thinking there's something else. Well, people get enough of it and they overthrow them. Because They think they are so much better than they actually are, so much more important, and so much more powerful than they actually are. Just like the American Revolution. They started pulling all that snothead stuff on the American people, and we had enough of it. And so you don't want to be somebody that other people do not like. You don't want to do that. I don't care how powerful you are. You want to remain humble. And don't show people your cards.